in terms of the specific areas of reduction. So the issue is not if, it is how we can reduce this burden that is a real serious challenge to the taxpayer. And we don't reach a situation where we have this situation like arose in the Bible of Balaam and the donkey, where the donkey was overburdened to the point of actually talking to Balaam. I think where we've reached in Kenya today, Kenyans are like that donkey that had to talk, go to the streets and talk and say, this burden is too much. So we are looking at the areas where the burden can be reduced for Kenyans to breathe in terms of short-term and in terms of long-term interventions. So as you conclude, probably we already have what you have presented, but if you have anything more in terms of specific areas of reduction, we'll be very happy to receive your written presentations, in addition to what you have presented, which really agrees with what the others have presented. Thank you.
Thank you, Eugene. Catherine?
Thank you, Arthur, for your presentation. You have actually touched on many issues, especially when you look at the cost of living in terms of food and the poverty level, food poverty levels for the ordinary Kenyans. This is indeed something that touches most of the Kenyans. And you've also gone ahead to give us and explored ways in which we can pursue to settle this. One of the ways you talked about is the reduction of budgetary deficits. Specifically, maybe you would have gone ahead and looked at this budgetary in your submissions if you're going to do any other supplementary paper. Which specific budgetary deficits are you pointing at? You have been very specific on the tax, and I think I like the idea that you talked about progressive taxation, which will be encouraged for the low cadre people, earning Kenyans maybe to pay less, and also for the well-earning maybe well-paid Kenyans earning more. Those should actually be taxed more. But as you say this, let us get the specifics on this. I like your idea on the prioritizing of education and also supporting the small entrepreneurs in their daily running of their businesses. That would also cut it down. But most importantly, I think I am on the food poverty levels of Kenyans. Thank you.
Yes. Anybody else? Yeah, one question. I just want to plead that you send us the full version of your presentation, because what we have here seems to be an abridged version. Thank you.
Thank you. Maybe for me, and I also want to join my colleagues in thanking you for this very insightful presentation. And I'll be very specific. When you talk about progressive taxation, and you say you consider progressive taxation which ensures that those who can afford to pay more do so, my straight question to that is that would that be in relation to what happened in the Finance Bill of 2023, where those earning above 500,000 shillings were the ones being taxed more in terms of the review of the tax bracket? That, in my view, would fall within that category of a progressive taxation system, where people who are earning, as proposed by Parliament in this year's Finance Bill, people who are earning above 500,000 shillings are now required to pay more tax than others. And that also falls within the other provisions, even what is currently being debated by Kenyans in terms of universal healthcare and NHIF, where those who earn more should pay more. But unfortunately, in our circumstances, I think those who pay more also have the elements of the microphone that I'm using and access to the media, and therefore are more critical of tax policies that are progressive. And therefore, those then at the bottom of the pyramid who have no access to the microphone and cameras that we have access to, then have no voice to speak for them. And we find ourselves in a situation where those of us who are earning more have a louder voice than those who have no voice. And probably those are the people you saw wearing sufurias in the streets, as Kwame said, because they had no voice to speak for them. Two, you have spoken about the paradox of tax increase the tax dilemma and the paradox of austerity. And I fully agree with you as a student of